Hi, my name is Julie Connor. I'm an associate broker for eXp Realty in both New York and Connecticut. I had an agent who's very new the other day ask me what they should put in an offer packet. He said he looked high and low all over the internet, and we're in Connecticut now, and he said he couldn't find what to put in an offer packet. And I said to myself, I'm sure he's not the only agent who wants to know this. So I decided to do a video today, and I called it Residential Offer Packet Guide for Connecticut Realtors. So the first thing that you need to make sure that you put in that offer packet is a pre-approval letter. And you need to obviously make sure that pre-approval letter is current, that it's not expired. You need to make sure that it's from a bank or a mortgage company. And you need to make sure that that letter at least covers the amount you want to pay for the house. So for example, if you're putting in an offer for $510 and the letter is for up to $500,000, you're not going to get the bid accepted, obviously. So make sure that that letter is in that packet. The second thing that you always need is proof of funds. We call it POF. The reason you need proof of funds is you need to be able to show the seller's agent, as a buyer's agent, that your buyer has the money to put down on the house. It's very, very important. So what I would highly recommend is when you send that proof of funds, and it typically is a bank statement, that you white out the account number. That's very important. So I always white out the account number. And sometimes you obviously need to make sure that it's a current statement, so give the most current statement available. And sometimes you want to have it from a couple of different accounts. So if somebody has a 401k account and somebody has a savings account and they also want to use the monies that are in the checkbook, you need to make sure that the total that you have is going to be enough to cover a binder as well as any other monies that they want to put down. So that's the second thing that's extremely important, that you have proof of funds that are attached to that offer packet. The third thing that's obviously extremely important is your offer. And in Connecticut, we typically will use something called the standard real estate contract. So I'm going to show it up here on the screen, and I'm doing a video that specifically explains the standard contract, exactly what's in it, and I want to be able to explain how to fill out each line. But this standard contract is where you're putting in the amount of money that you're offering for the house, how much you're giving for an initial binder. So that's very, very important, obviously. The type of mortgage you're getting, so how many years. You also want to be able to say how much you're actually borrowing from the bank or the mortgage company. You want to have on here on this form, making sure that everything is specifically filled out. Every single page in this 4-page form has initials at the bottom of each page. Please double check that to make sure the initials are put on there. Every line needs to be specifically filled out in this standard form real estate contract. So obviously that's probably one of the most important things that you have in there. Additionally, the seller's agent is going to have on the multiple listing, they're going to have what we call disclosures, and those are going to be put right up on there, and the sellers have already gone through and signed all the disclosures. So if the house is before 1978, there are going to be lead disclosures in that packet. If the house is a newer home from that, then there won't be lead disclosures. Those lead disclosures are extremely important. I am going to do another video on lead disclosures. It is so important that that is filled out and initialed properly. If it's not, you can get upwards of a $10,000 fine. In order to do these disclosures and the contract, you have to make sure that you have given by email or an actual physical copy, a copy of the Protect Your Family from Lead in Your Home. We are required to give these books out. I always give it at my initial buyer counseling session so I don't forget, and I'm not trying to remember, while putting in an offer, that I haven't handed this to them yet. I tend to give a hard copy, and I'll also email it as well so they can read it at their convenience. You also have to have, we talked about lead, you have to have the residential property condition report as well. So this is filled out very specifically with the knowledge of the sellers to the best of their ability. And you have to make sure that your buyers initial each page and read each page very, very carefully. I would highly recommend that you make sure that the seller's agent has the most recent copy there. I have had situations where the seller's agent has an old copy of the property condition report in there, and I always would, say, please, can you make sure that the sellers have a good copy? And if they refuse to do it, there's really not a lot you can do, but you have to document that it's an old copy. They have changed it over time. This residential property condition report tells the buyers everything that the sellers know about the house. There are some times that there's a waiver to actually fill out this report. And an example would be is if it's a situation in which you have an executor who's taken over an estate. Let's say mom or dad died and the executor never lived in the house. They know nothing about the house. That they would not have to fill out this report. But in most cases, this has to be filled out. If this report is not filled out, and this is important, the sellers have to pay the buyers $500. So it's basically a $500 due at closing to the buyers because this report was not filled out. But just because you didn't fill out this report doesn't mean that the sellers can hide material facts. And by that I would mean, if there's something seriously wrong, for example, the house gets, massive floods every time it rains, that is something that has to be disclosed. Or if they have a really serious problem with mice infestation or something, that's something you really have to disclose. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that in the packet that the seller's agent puts online on the multiple listing, there's going to be other disclosures at times, and it really depends on what part of the state in Connecticut that you live. So for example, over in like the Hartford area, we see a lot of agents, even if they're going to be selling a house in the Fairfield area where I'm from, you'll see that they'll put in, mold disclosures, hot tub disclosures, which probably is not a bad idea anyway, as well as concrete advisories, foundation disclosures, and other disclosures. So please make sure that you really go through the addendums that are put into the MLS and make sure for the house that you're putting that offer on that you have all the disclosures that are in that your buyers are signing that and they're initialing the pages, that you really go through that with a fine-tooth comb, that the standard contract is in there, that the POF or proof of funds is in there, and that you have everything all neat in one packet, ideally sent as one file to the seller's agent. I always say I give a little letter in the email, specifically asking the seller's agent, can you please let me know that you've received this? I'll also send them a text. Please let me know that you received the email that I sent you at 4 o'clock. This is especially important if you have a highest and best situation where they say we have to have your highest and best offer by 4 o'clock and you sent it at 3:30. You want to make sure that that agent has received it. I hope this has really helped you a lot. I thank you for watching, and please look forward to all the other videos I have about all the forms that we use in Connecticut. Thank you and have a great day.